Hi, everybody. I'm Sally Wilson, and I have extraordinary fellow TRTP practitioner and mentor with me today, Dr. Helen Mursell. Welcome, Helen.
Thanks, Sally. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say, because I know that before you came to TRTP, you'd already been a practicing clinical psychologist for 20 years, right? So how did you find TRTP and why did you train in it?
How I found it was through a random email that just came my way. I'm really not sure how that happened, but and I think I might have seen it a couple of times, and we get a lot of information, so it's like, yeah. And then one day I sort of actually paused and I had a little read of it, and it made a lot of sense to me, because I think at that time, to me, there just seemed to be a bit of a gap in terms of how to help clients who had experienced a lot of trauma. I knew enough to know about don't go there and don't kind of dive deeply into the story. But I just felt like there was a lot missing. And also I did have a bit of a reputation for working with very complex presentations, and I guess working many years chipping away at things, and on paper the clients were getting well. They were ticking boxes, they were re-engaging back into life, but to me there just still seemed to be something missing. Their self-worth wasn't sort of where I wanted it to be, or they were still sabotaging their efforts, whether it be job promotions or something like that. And so to me there was just a little missing ingredient. And when I came across TRTP and I read a little blurb about it, I thought, this could be it. And it just made sense. Yeah. And I just wanted to do whatever I could as safely as I could that would absolutely maximize the change that I could create with my clients.
Yeah. And so when you started implementing TRTP in your practice, what changed?
What changed was that I got a lot busier all of a sudden, and my clients got a lot better faster. And that is quite phenomenal, because they were getting better and they were moving on from the work that we were doing, yet I was getting busier and busier. So in other words, I guess people were sort of getting to the I want what she had.
Right.
I didn't really know what was happening, but there was the word spread very quickly, and people that knew clients, or perhaps other professionals that had been working with that particular client, noticed a difference and just said fabulous, and sort of sent more people my way. So now I'm sort of bursting at the seams, and there's about a 5-month wait, and people are willing to wait.
Yeah.
Some people, not everyone, I'm sure.
Yeah. And when you talk about clients or patients getting better a lot more quickly, I know it's impossible to sort of to give a specific time frame for everybody, but what sorts of time frames are you looking at?
So for me, the main part of TRTP, it takes about a month. Yeah, so 4 weeks, because I did a little bit of sort of just an initial sort of standard session, if you like. And so I do it over the course of a month. So we're talking 4 weeks. And they are just absolutely, completely ready to just step back into life, feeling so different. It's incredible. Yeah.
And those people, what sorts of time frames had they already been working with you and colleagues? Just as a few examples.
Yeah. So fair to say years. And perhaps a few more years of that. It was a very slow, as I said, the client group that I had, they had a lot of complex sort of comorbidity and sort of complex presentations, and it was a really slow process. And it was yeah, and required a lot of patience from both sides, and you know, a lot of, I guess, a strong rapport for the clients to sort of keep coming and trust that the process was going to bear fruit at the end. A very long journey. Whereas sort of, I think now, a lot of my clients are now coming specifically because they know of this particular process that takes a very much shorter time, and you know, they're really keen and eager, and it's just extraordinary. It's very satisfying work in that respect.
And I don't know if you remember back to when you read that initial blurb about TRTP. I certainly remember the first time I came in contact with information on it, and I was so skeptical. And I don't know, do you remember your responses to the first lot of information you came across?
Yeah, I have heard that sort of others share yours. I didn't have as much. It wasn't. I didn't feel skeptical. I thought, well, for example, you know, Medicare sort of funds 10 sessions. You know, this is the 10 single sessions. This is you know, done in double sessions or single sessions. It's about sort of, you know, 6 to 8, 10 sessions too. So if CBT can purport to do that, then why can't other processes as well? And I guess when I did read the blurb, and then I did go to maybe I had it sparked my interest, and then at that time there was a 3-hour workshop that Judith did, and I went there and was like, yeah, this makes perfect sense to me, because it's sort of really I guess speaking to the part of us that where the trauma is stored in the, you know, unconscious in the body. And it made total sense that why cognitive processes take so long, because we're chipping away at the top there, and that's sort of just a small part of our mind. So it just sort of filled in all the gaps of the questions that I've had all my life as I've been working clinically with clients, and sort of thinking, yep, this is the missing link for me. So I don't think I had skepticism. I had just absolutely, I guess I have an open mind, and, you know, just all I want is for my clients to get better, and get better safely and as effectively as possible. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit of a, oh, well, this sounds fabulous, bring it on. Go for it. Yeah, it made sense.
And Helen, just in our last couple of minutes, I'm wondering whether you could talk a little bit about how TRTP has changed your life personally.
Okay, so it definitely has, and I was reflecting on this only a couple of weeks ago, and I think sort of if I look back over my life, I have sort of tended to live life from the balcony of my intellect and sort of looking down, and it sort of was a very good way of just feeling safe and not feeling too much. And one of the things I love about TRTP, but when we train, we go through the process ourselves, so that in itself is a gift. But also being a practitioner, what I have noticed is that absolutely over the years, I think it's coming up to 6 years when I trained, I personally now live life so much more in an embodied sense. And when I look at the ocean, I can see it for what it is. I can feel it now, whereas before it was sort of much more of an intellectual sort of, oh yes, that's pretty and that's nice. And so for me, I just am personally able to deeply connect to the people around me and to the world around me with such depth now. And it's just, that's probably one of the most incredible things. And that's what I love about TRTP, is absolutely about learning to experience life again, because it's safe to experience life again. We don't need that armor of our intellect or whatever other sort of armor people create. But for me, it was definitely my intellect to sort of stop me from feeling the things that I didn't want to stop and didn't want to feel. And now, yeah, just completely changed the way I experience life. And personally, stroke professionally, my work is so much more rewarding, and it's very enjoyable to know that I can help others to shed their intellectual armor or whatever it is that's keeping them safe from feeling and experiencing life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
special.
very special. And thank
Mm.
you, Dr. Helen Mursell, so much for being so open about your experience and yeah, and talking us through what your process was in coming to TRTP. I know it'll be very valuable to a lot of listeners. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Sam.
Helen.